Hi there, and welcome to Investing with Ease. I'm Mandy Gatlin, and I'm so excited that you're here taking this course because I know it's going to give you the tools that you need to change your life. If you know my story, investing is one of the first things that I was introduced to when I started my own business for myself. And I learned about it and took the advice from my dad at the time and went ahead and dove into the world of investing. And it really was one of the big things for me that changed my life and changed my world. And it helped me to retire early. And I feel like these are the tools, these are the things that we should be teaching in school, but we're not teaching these things. And so I really love sharing this information with people that I know, and then also you, people that are coming into this world for the first time, as well as people who may have been like trading or trying to trade, but they're getting frustrated by that process. I want investing to be easy, and I want it to be easy for you. And I know that if it's easy, then you're more likely to do it. So that's what this course is all about, helping to break it down and make it really easy for you. So let's go ahead and dive into this topic about how you can benefit from investing in the stock market. I want to give you just a very simple kind of idea about what this means, like to invest in the stock market. Basically, you are getting into a market. So if it's like many companies that are out there, if you're in the US, there are many markets here in the US as well as throughout the world. There are many markets that you can invest in. And if you're going to get into a market like a stock market, then that means that you're buying in either to a particular stock, which is a representation of the company, or a fund, which is like a group of companies that are all in like a basket together. So if you get into investing with like a stock, then you're limiting yourself to just that one stock. If you're investing in a fund, that means that you are kind of protecting yourself from fallout. Like if a company does go down, only maybe that one company or a few companies in that category or sector would go down, then you would be protected by being in a fund because maybe other industries or categories of companies won't go down at the same time. Sometimes they do based on whatever's going on in the economy. But for this course in particular, I'm going to be introducing you to investing in the stock market, but also getting into investing in funds, which are more like index funds. And these are a basket of companies. And we're going to get into this in a little more detail later in the course. But for now, I just want to give you that kind of general understanding, of the difference, because a lot of people that I end up talking to about investing, they maybe have a couple of stocks. Maybe they were handed down to them, or their parents believed in a particular company, and so they bought into. And so a lot of people get introduced to the stock market that way. That's actually how I was first introduced when I was younger, was to look at companies individually. And then I found that to be very difficult. It just felt like a lot of work to me to have to continually look at that company, how it's doing, research it, make sure it's doing okay. And then I was introduced to this kind of new and different way. For me, it was new, but it was not new. It just became this way that made things so much easier for me. And so I want to show you one of the very first things that I was shown that gave me confidence in investing in the stock market, because it just felt very overwhelming and daunting and like a lot of work to have to look at individual stocks and research them and trade. And so this is what I want to show you. I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly what I was introduced to. So this is one of the apps that I use that you can download on your phone. It is called Yahoo Finance. Yahoo, I know, is kind of old school for a lot of people, but I still use it. It's something that I love to use because of the simplicity of it. It actually allows you to create watch lists and portfolios for yourself. And then they also allow you to do a lot of research. You can click up here in their search bar. You can type in ticker symbols for stocks or funds, as well as to get news. And something that I want to introduce you to here is what we're going to be talking about a lot in this course, which is the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is basically a representation of the top 500 companies in the US. Now, this is what I was first introduced to. It's something that I am sharing in this course because I recommend, for people to get started this way. Now, something that I have to say is that I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for education. Okay, so I want you to use this for educational entertainment purposes right now for yourself and for you to evaluate if this is a good way for you to get started in the market. I think you're going to find a lot of value in taking this course and seeing this as a way to jump in. And I think it's going to help you to feel more comfortable with jumping into the market. So to give you an idea, this is actually a chart of the S&P 500 index. And again, this is a representation of 500 of the top companies in the US. And this chart right here is just the 1 day. So using this app, you can see, you can choose different dates and timelines. Okay, so you can actually span out to like a 5-day, and that gives you an idea. It's been going up over the last 5 days. Now, this is something that I want you to see. We're going to get into these charts in more detail in the course. But for now, just for you to kind of get an idea and feel a little bit more comfortable, a little more excited about this as a way to grow your money, I want you to pan out to like a 5-year on this chart. And I want you to see that the market has gone up over the last 5 years, quite a bit actually. If you hover your mouse back and forth over this chart, it will give you the date and you can see the price. The little black tag that's moving along here on the right-hand side is showing that price. Now, what's interesting here is you can see the ups and downs in the market. And this is something to get really used to. And we're going to talk about this in the course, which is how to ride out these ups and downs, what to do about that. How do I deal with the emotion and, what happens to my money, right? When it's in the market and if I'm just letting it sit in the market, what is actually happening with it? So we're going to go through a lot of that in this course. But what I want you to see is that even in the down times, and this is something that I had to learn really early on because I had a lot of fear about getting into the market, was that it always goes up. It tends to turn around. And even if we have something major happen, okay, like here you can see this date, in March of 2020. Do you guys remember what that was? So that was when the pandemic hit, okay? And you can see the market really took quite a dump during that time, right? I've had money in the market since I was in college when I started my business. So I've had it in there for quite a long time. And I've ridden through many of the downturns in the market, the bear markets that we've had. And something that my dad told me was that stay in the market. It's too hard to time and see when you can get in and out. And he's been right this whole time. Now he still gets hit with the fear as well when we have times like this because he is older, his money's in the market too. And as you can see, when you have money and you've built up your account, it can really be quite a hit to your ego and like very traumatic to see, the market taking quite a dip like this. Emotionally, that's a trigger, and you have to learn really to sit in that energy and let your money turn around and come back. And this is something that I was taught, was the long-term investing mindset. Okay. And that's something that we're going to get into more in the course. So you're going to see. But the benefit to this is that you're really building up a successful money mindset when you're in a space of not really allowing yourself to react or be swayed by what's going on in the economy, in the world, in the markets, all of that. So if you can sit in the energy of just allowing your money to grow, you're going to benefit from something that we're also going to learn this course, which is compounding. And this is the real magic in being able to invest long term. Compounding basically means that your money is making money. Whatever your investments are doing, if they're earning interest, that interest gets reinvested and it compounds, and you get to allow that money to grow over time. So time is your benefit when you're investing. The longer you have, the better, okay? And the more that you put in, then you're going to benefit even faster. So these are the two things to know, is that like, not only is it time, but the amount of money that you're able to put in. Okay. So, and I don't want you to feel discouraged if you can't put, a lot in right now. Just get started. That's also something that I had to overcome, was this fear of getting started. And so you're going to hear me say it many times in the course, because I want you to start. While you are taking this course, I want you to actually take the steps to set up your brokerage account, open your fund, get money put into it. And I want you to allow yourself to feel those fears as you're going through the course, and allow, these videos to speak to you, because I'm going to be bringing up a lot of the fears that come up every single time you take these steps. I'm going to be right there with you, bringing up some of the fears I've personally experienced, as well as the people that I work with. And it's very common. Okay. It's very common. So, but what I want you to know is that compounding is the magical thing that you use to grow your money. Okay, so I'm going to show you an app that you're going to be introduced to, and I'm just giving you the basics right now in this course. But you can go to this website, investor.gov/financial tools calculators. You just go to investor.gov, and then on that main page, you're going to actually be able to find their calculators right here, financial tools and calculators on this tab. You're going to click on compound interest calculator. And this is going to bring you to this really fun calculator that you can use. And pretty soon in the course, you're going to be introduced to how to use this calculator. And you're basically going to be putting in numbers, and you're going to be able to see how quickly your money can grow if you allow it to have the time. If you give it the time, and you also do this consistently. Okay, these are the key things that you need to know. These are the ways that the top investors in the world grow their money fast. Okay, they're leveraging the money that they have through compounding. Okay, that means that you're allowing this interest, this magical thing that we call interest. And if you've heard my story, when I first found out about interest, it blew my mind. And it was the reason that I set a goal to actually have $1 million saved. That became my goal, because I realized if I have $1 million saved, I can actually just live off of the interest. And my money, the more that I put away, the more that money is going to grow, the faster it's going to grow. So you're going to be introduced to this calculator. These are the things that I want you to know, these apps that I want you to go ahead and download. So it's going to be a research tool like Yahoo Finance. Another one you could use is CNBC. Just go with something that's free for now, okay? That's also the point to this course, is that I want it to be inexpensive for you to get into this. Now, this is also the reason that I suggest that we get into something like index funds, okay? Because I want it to be cheap for you. And if you go with, like, say, a financial advisor, they're going to charge you a lot of fees. If you go with something like trading, just individual stocks, you're going to be paying trading fees as well. So I'm trying to steer you in the direction of doing this in a way where you're actually saving a lot of money as you're doing this, okay? And that is also a key thing that I learned really early on. And it's a mistake that I made a couple of times during my whole investment journey. I handed over my money a few times to investors. And I actually ended up with this issue of many times being persuaded to have them, take care of my money for me. Well, there's advisement fees if you do that. Okay, so I want you to know that as well. Now, the third thing that you need to know, which I'm going to share my screen again, is that you actually need to have a brokerage company. So something like Vanguard or Fidelity is the other app that you're going to need. Okay, so if you want to, you can start researching. We're also going to go over this in the course, but something like Vanguard or Fidelity, Charles Schwab, you need a brokerage company. You need to be able to go into one of these brokerage accounts so that you can look at their funds to be able to start investing. All right, so those are the three things that you need for now. We're going to go a little bit deeper into these apps and these things in the course, but for now, that's it. That's the easy part of this, is just those three tools I want you to have. And I'm so excited that you're here. I can't wait for you to dive into the other parts of the course and just take it step by step. And I promise you, I'm going to address a lot of the things that are going to come up for you throughout the course. Okay. If you have any questions, make sure to put the questions down below in the comments section, or you can email me directly. All right. And I'm going to have the link to my email down below, as well as the links to all of these apps. Okay, I'm so excited for you. Can't wait to see you in the next module.